Darth Vader is one of the most iconic film villains of all time, and his backstory was covered in great detail in the Star Wars prequel trilogy. But how much of this did George Lucas have figured out when he was writing the original trilogy? In today's video, I answer this very question. In the book, The Star Wars Archives, Episodes 1 to 3, 1999 to 2005, by Paul Duncan, George Lucas shares many behind-the-scenes aspects of the prequels, and this book is where we find our answer. According to George Lucas, there was no room for Vader's backstory to organically fit into the original trilogy, but he still had to know where the Empire and Vader came from in order to write a coherent story. In 1981, during a 5-day story conference for Return of the Jedi, this is how Lucas envisioned Vader's backstory. Anakin Skywalker was a Jedi who began hanging out with the Emperor. The Emperor was an elected politician, and no one knew how evil he really was. As a result of associating with the Emperor, Anakin changed, and his wife came to notice him acting weirdly at home. She then informed Obi-Wan of her concerns. Meanwhile, Anakin was going on missions around the galaxy, where he was killing any Jedi who turned their back on him. His wife, now pregnant, got even more concerned as Anakin got worse and worse, and this led to Obi-Wan confronting Anakin. The pair fought, and Obi-Wan tossed Vader into a volcano, heavily injured. The Emperor rescued Anakin, and when Obi-Wan found out, he was very worried. Obi-Wan went to Anakin's wife and explained that Anakin had turned bad, and so the twins, Luke and Leia, were hid away. Luke was given to a couple on Tatooine, with Obi-Wan watching from a distance, and Leia and her mother were taken in by the King of Alderaan, a friend of Obi-Wan's. Sadly, Luke and Leia's mother died not long after moving to Alderaan. So yeah, that's roughly how George Lucas described it, and I find this really interesting. You can clearly see how the basis of the prequel trilogy was already thought out all these years before the movies released. Anakin's closeness to the Emperor's position as an elected politician who wasn't known to be evil, Anakin's gradual change, Obi-Wan's confrontation with Anakin in a volcanic location, and the Emperor's rescue of Anakin all made it into the prequel trilogy, which is a big bulk of the backstory George Lucas gave in 1981. Also, the differences are really fascinating to me. Anakin killed multiple Jedi over time, not just in one big moment like in Order 66. He also didn't seem to be motivated by a desire to save his wife, who survived longer in this version of events. To me, Anakin comes off as a much darker, more brutal character in this version, although I understand it's only a limited description of events. Please let me know what you think of this original backstory though, as I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope you found this as interesting as I did, and we hope to see you later at Vault Holocron.